Greetings, dear friends, and welcome to Stillness Unfolded, your haven for quiet truths. I'm your guide, a monk shaped by lotus ponds and the paths of giving, learning from rivers and the Buddha's gaze. What if the peace you chase isn't lost because you're not enough but because you're giving too much? Today, we peel back the cost of yes, sorry, and bonds that take without return. This is your call to stop giving too much and unlock the calm within. We'll journey through 5 lessons from the Dharma's heart. See a woman whose candle burned out from endless giving, a merchant felled by yes, a monk who smiled at rage, a friendship released to bloom anew, and a bird whose no set her young free. Each whispers, peace lies not in what you offer, but in what you keep. Could the secret to your stillness hide in a word you fear or an apology you never owed? This video brims with insights. Dear ones, watch to the end, for every step unveils a truth to lighten your soul. If this stirs you, please give me a like and subscribe to Stillness Unfolded. Your support helps this channel grow, sharing more wisdom with all. Leave your thoughts below. Your voice shapes our path, weaving stillness for many. Now, settle in, breathe deep, and let's reclaim the peace you've given away too long. Part 1: The Hidden Cost of Endless Giving. Let me share a story from the temple, one that rings in my heart like a cracked bell tolling through mist. A young woman once staggered to me, her eyes dim as twilight, her shoulders sagging beneath an invisible yoke heavier than stone. In her village, she was the ever-giving soul, mending roofs as rain lashed her face, humming lullabies to still a child's sobs, lingering by hearths to hear woes until the stars dimmed to ash. Yet, as she knelt, her hands quivering like storm-tossed leaves, she choked out, "Master, I'm a candle burning at both ends. I give everything, why am I so hollow?" Her plea splintered like glass, and in its shards, I glimpsed a truth we all graze. Giving without discernment drags us from peace's gentle shore into a sea of shadows. The Buddha's words pierce this fog, a lantern slicing through dusk's veil. Compassion throbs in the Dharma, a river surging from the heart to cradle all life. Yet, he bestowed upon us the middle way, a golden thread weaving past excess's jagged cliffs. When we spill ourselves out, chasing fleeting nods or fleeing scorn's sting, we unravel this balance. Picture a river, its waters shimmering as they rush to bless the earth. Into a desert it pours, its song chokes in the sand, a faint trickle weeping for what's lost. So we become. When we offer time, warmth, spirit to hands that clutch but hearts that turn cold, we wither not from kindness, but from blindness to where our waters belong. The Buddha whispered in the Dhammapada, peace comes not from praise, but from within, a call to anchor ourselves beyond others' fleeting cheers. I've trod this path, sandals frayed by its thorns, heart bruised by its lessons. As a young monk, I deemed compassion a ceaseless yes, rushing with herbs to fevered beds as sweat soaked my robes, counseling until my throat rasped like dry reeds, sweeping steps as dawn slumbered. I craved their smiles, certain this was Dharma's boundless love. But one night, exhaustion struck. I dozed mid-prayer, the bell's chime swallowed by silence, my hands empty of offering. By a stream at dawn, its silver threads weaving past stone, truth unfurled like a lotus, it shunned barren rock, pouring life into roots that drank deep, moss that clung soft, fields that sang in chorus. Kindness without wisdom is a half gift, a flame snuffed by the wind it seeks to warm. Attachment to gold, glory, or hollow praise robs peace, the Buddha warned. Clinging to their yes, we drift, a boat unmoored in a storm of whims. Where do you pour your energy, dear friends? Grateful soil that blossoms, or sand that swallows? Something drains you daily, can you name its silent thief? The quiet secret to reclaiming your peace lies not in what you give, but in what you choose to keep. Recall a time giving hollowed you out. Why didn't you pause? Share it below, your echo might light another's path. Part 2. Boundaries as Sacred Guardians. In the stillness of meditation, we train our minds to turn from thought's clamor, like lotus leaves shedding rain in a silver hush. So too must we shield our hearts from overextension's tide, a relentless current that drowns us in whispers of fatigue. Boundaries, dear ones, are not selfish walls raised in scorn. They are temple gates, carved with wisdom's patient hands, guarding the sacred flame that flickers within us all. The Buddha taught self-respect, not as arrogance's gilded crown, but as a quiet bow to our divine spark, a ember kissed by eternity. The Dhammapada murmurs, "He who guards not himself, how guards the way?" If we do not cradle our light, shielding it from the gales of others' demands, who will see its tender shine pierce the dark? Picture a tree, its roots drinking from silence's deep well, its leaves whispering strength, swaying with wind's wild dance yet unbroken by its fierce howl. It doesn't snap to every gust, crumbling in despair, it towers, offering shade only to those who kneel beneath it in awe. Boundaries root us, fueling us to give when truth's bell rings clear. I recall a merchant who knelt before me, his face etched with fatigue's cruel lines, eyes storm-weary and dim. He slaved day and night, saying yes, hawking wares under a merciless sun that seared his skin, settling debts as his vigor bled into the dust until he collapsed mid-market, goods scattered like fallen dreams, none stooping to lift him. Why no pause? I asked, my voice soft as incense curling through dusk. I fear they'll leave, he rasped, a broken reed. Beneath the Bodhi tree, its leaves rustling like a hymn, we meditated on his worth, not a tool bent by others' greed, but a soul, a riverbed craving stillness after years of flood. He learned no, his voice rising firm, and found not rejection's sting, but reverence, his refusal a mirror of might, polished by courage. Through temple years, I've seen boundaries mend lives, golden threads stitching torn robes into tapestries of grace. They don't repel, they guide light to its truest mark, a lantern for those who honor its glow. Ananda once frowned, brows knit, is limiting giving selfish? The Buddha's dawn soft smile bloomed as he answered, a lamp burned out lights no path. Self-respect oils our compassion's glow, a quiet fuel I've grown to treasure. I learned this when I ceased thinning myself, rushing from prayer to counsel, once forgetting the sutras mid-chant as wind mocked my faltering tongue. Preserving stillness, I sat fully with seekers, my words deep as a wellspring, my heart a calm pool mirroring their yearning souls. Where do you need these gates, dear friends? A friend bending your branches till they groan, a task stealing breath like a thief in shadow? You've helped most who hurt you deepest, dare you face that silent wound? The quiet secret to reclaiming your peace lies not in what you give, but in what you choose to keep. Share below, when did you ache to say no but swallowed it? What chained your voice? Part 3, the weight of unneeded apologies. Words, dear friends, are like seeds flung into a storm. They whirl, take root, and sprout chains where freedom once danced wild. Yet how often do we fling them heedless, murmuring sorry for merely existing, as if our breath were a thief slipping through the night's veil. Sorry to trouble you, sorry for my voice. These whispers escape, sharp as thorns, piercing our self-worth, silent wounds that bleed unseen beneath the skin of our days. In the Dharma, we learn every utterance chisels us, a sculptor's blade on the stone of our soul, carving either strength or surrender. When we apologize without cause, we murmur we are less, a shadow begging pardon in life's vast hall, a guest who fears the door. The Buddha taught in the Dhammapada, K2 Lam Min Hen Kem, Kong Ai Nang Len Duoka, mirror held to our own trembling hands. He offered a truth, simple as a pebble rippling still water, waves widening into wisdom. If someone offers you a gift and you do not accept it, to whom does it belong? I recall a monk, robes swaying like a river's edge kissed by dawn, threading through a bustling market. A stranger spat venom barbs like jagged stones, then shoved him, his frame staggering yet steady. Still, he smiled, a crescent moon in daylight, sandals kissing the earth with each unhurried step. By the temple's flickering lamps, their glow trembling like breath, I asked, why no apology, no defense? His eyes twinkled, stars snared in a net of calm, their rage was their gift, wrapped in thorns and shadow. I left it unclaimed. My heart holds no room for such weight, only the wind's soft song. This is standing unshaken, a defiance that roars in silence, louder than any storm's howl. I've faltered here, snared by this subtle trap, my spirit once tangled in its coils. In my early years of writing, I'd murmur sorry for delayed scrolls, ink wet with doubt and dread, for needing solitude as the world pounded my door with fists of need. Each apology dimmed me, a theft I didn't see until I stood by the lotus pond, its mirror reflecting a sky I'd forgotten. The flowers rose through mud's grasp, petals bold against dawn, unapologetic as the sun's first fire. Once, a villager demanded I break meditation. I said sorry, and his mocking laugh cut deeper than words. The next time, I said no. Silence fell, a gift sweeter than any plea, not a chain of guilt. You try it, dear ones, when sorry stirs like a restless wind, breathe deep as pines bowing to the sky, ask, is this mine to bear? In that pause, you'll rise, a pillar rooted in worth, unshaken by echoes of old habits. Where do these unneeded sorries chain you to judging voices that bite, or silences that sting like frost? Each one's a blade you wield against yourself. Dare you see its etch? The quiet secret to reclaiming your peace lies not in what you give, but in what you choose to keep. Count your sorries today. How many weigh you down? Share below one you'd take back. How would your heart soar, unburdened and free? Part 4. Relationships that nourish. Relationships are the gardens of our lives. Some burst with blossoms of shared care, petals vivid against the sun, others fade under neglect's weight, their colors leached by a barren wind. Too often, we spill our essence into bonds that draw more than they return, a quiet hemorrhage of the heart. The Dharma calls us to mindfulness here, to gaze clearly, with eyes unclouded, at where our kindness falls, to see if it lands on soil or stone. Picture your energy as a rare jewel, polished by time and trial, its facets catching light through years of silent forging. Would you fling it into a rushing stream, praying it's caught by hands that care? No, you'd cradle it, placing it only where its gleam is cherished, where it rests in a setting worthy of its glow. I once sat with a man whose heart was heavy from giving, his spirit bowed like a bamboo stalk in a gale. He poured hours into a friend, listening to their sorrows until night swallowed day, mending their troubles with hands worn raw. Yet when his own storm brewed, dark clouds roiling within, they were absent, their silence a blade sharper than words. Why do you linger? I asked, my voice a thread of calm. I fear they'll vanish, he sighed, eyes tracing the ground as if seeking lost roots. We rested by the temple pond, watching fish glide in pairs, their scales shimmering like mirrored stars. See their dance, I said, pointing to the water's gentle sway. A bond thrives on harmony, not one soul's burden bending till it breaks. He chose to step away, his steps hesitant at first, then firm, and soon, new companions arrived, ones who met his care with their own, their laughter a balm where wounds once wept. The river flows through my mind again, into fertile earth, it births life, green tendrils reaching for the sky, into desert, it withers, swallowed by sand's unyielding thirst. So it is with us. Cast your love where it takes root, not where it's swept away by currents blind to its worth. In my years of guiding others, I've learned this bittersweet truth: not every hand deserves our grasp, not every soil can hold our seed. Once, I tended a sapling in the temple yard, watering it daily with a monk's patient hope, whispering blessings as its leaves unfurled. But when a storm tore through, uprooting it in a single howl, I saw the soil was too shallow, its roots dangled, starved of depth, despite my care. Some bonds are like that, our spirit pours forth, yet their earth cannot hold it, cannot mirror our giving with growth. I've known this myself. A disciple once clung to my every word, yet offered none in return, his silence a drought where I sought a spring. I let go, and in that space, others came, souls whose respect flowed both ways, a stream meeting a stream. Pour your spirit where it's mirrored, where giving dances in tandem, not a lone echo lost to the void. Where do you spill your jewel, dear friends? Into hands that clasp tight, or palms that let it fall? The quiet secret to reclaiming your peace lies not in what you give, but in what you choose to keep. Dare you see the ties that drain you dry, those you water while they watch you wilt? Share below, have you released a bond that dimmed your light? What sprouted in its wake, tell me, what new bloom lifted your soul? Part 5, The Grace of Saying No. Saying no feels like a ripple against the tide, bold and trembling in a world that lauds yes with fervent cheers. Yet it is a sacred chant, an offering to your own soul, a hymn whispered in the stillness of self. The Buddha walked this balance, a dance of grace on life's tightrope, retreating to the forest when his spirit called, leaves rustling secrets to his weary heart, teaching only when his heart swelled full, a vessel brimming with light. I recall a villager who scaled the hill to my hermitage, his questions tumbling like stones loosed from a cliff, each one heavy with need. I listened long, my shadow stretching thin across the earth, then said, I must rest now. Look within. He departed, brow furrowed like plowed earth, his silence thick with doubt. Days later, he returned, eyes bright as dawn breaking through mist. Your no nudged me to my own answers, he said, voice alive with wonder. In that refusal, I gave him more than words, a path to his own strength, a seed planted where my voice stepped back. Saying no is not a wall, cold and unyielding, it's a window to clarity, flung wide to let truth's breeze sweep through. Each yes to another can be a no to yourself, to your rest, your practice, your peace, a theft so subtle it cloaks itself in virtue. I learned this painfully, my lesson carved in the ashes of spent days. As a monk, I once stretched myself thin, forsaking meditation to answer every knock, every cry that pierced the temple's hush. My mind grew foggy, a lantern dimmed by smoke, my steps heavy, sandals dragging through dust until exhaustion whispered a truth sharper than any blade. I shine brightest when I'm whole, not a flame guttering in others' storms. Now, I weigh each plea like a monk sifts rice. Does this echo my path? If not, no becomes my gift, a kindness to myself, a lantern held high for them to find their own. Once, I turned away a seeker mid-rain, his pleas drowned by thunder. He returned with a smile, having faced his own tempest alone. Once, I watched a mother bird in the temple grove, her wings a blur of tireless care. She fed her fledglings, beak to beak, through dawn's first blush, but when their feathers gleamed strong, she nudged them from the nest, her no a fierce love that cut the cord. They flapped, faltered, then soared, her refusal freed them to claim the sky. So it is with us. Saying no can free others to stand alone, roots digging deep where we once propped them up, while preserving our own wings to rise unburdened. I've seen this in the temple's quiet corners. A child I refused to carry ran instead, laughing as her legs found their strength. Pause when the next demand crashes in, a wave against your shore. Breathe deeply, as if drawing the forest's ancient breath. Ask, am I honoring my time, my spark? A no spoken with grace guards your light, letting it burn steady, a beacon, not a flicker snuffed by wind. Where does your yes cost you most, dear friends? To demands that sap your roots, or pleas that dim your sky? The quiet secret to reclaiming your peace lies not in what you give, but in what you choose to keep. Dare you imagine a day where every no is a step toward freedom? What would you claim? Share below, when did you say yes and lose yourself? What no could have set you free? Here we stand, dear friends, at the close of our journey, a trail lit by the wisdom of stopping, of keeping, of reclaiming what's yours. From the woman whose endless giving left her hollow, to the merchant who rose through refusal, the monk who let rage fall unclaimed, the bond we freed to find new growth, and the mother bird whose no birthed flight we've uncovered a truth as old as the Dharma itself. Peace doesn't drain from giving too little, but from giving too much. The quiet secret hums through every story, not in what you scatter to the winds, but in what you cradle close, lies the stillness that unlocks your calm. What have you given today that cost you your own light? Dare you take it back? This hasn't been a fleeting tale, it's a lantern, a guide, a call to stop giving too much and start guarding your peace with the grace of a monk's steady breath. I beg you, watch this video to its final whisper, for every piece weaves a tapestry that could shift your days from strain to serenity. If these lessons have lifted you, please give me a like and subscribe to Stillness Unfolded. Your click is a seed, sprouting more stories of stillness for all who seek. In the comments below, let your heart speak. Tell me of a time you gave too much and lost yourself, or a no that brought you back. Your words help this channel thrive, weaving a community where peace unfolds like a lotus at dawn. As we part, carry this: the Buddha's wisdom reminds us we are not wells to be emptied, but flames to be tended. Stop giving too much, and watch your light burn steady. Step into tomorrow with this truth, dear one. Say no where your soul aches, nurture what mirrors your care, and let your spirit rest unburdened. I'll see you again on Stillness Unfolded, where the quiet awaits. Until then, walk softly, hold your peace close, and may your heart find its unshaken song. Namaste.